Hi everybody, Colin Woolway here, at least I think it's me, yes it is. Back again for Rhythm Magazine and another of my Getting Started articles. And this month we are looking at linear playing, linear drumming. What is linear drumming? Linear drumming is where none of your limbs play the same note. So there's no snare and cymbal, there's no bass and hi-hat. Every note has its assigned voice. Every note has its own line, if you want to think of it in a linear way like that. None of the notes meet, so they all have their different spot. I'm going to tip my hat to the legendary teacher Bob Armstrong, the late great Bob Armstrong, who had a very good program for teaching linear drumming. And I think one of the first things he'd show his students is what I'm going to show you now, which is a group of 3 followed by a group of 5. Now the rule you can follow with any of these subdivisions is you play the bass drum at the front and the remaining notes on the snare with your hands. So for example, a group of 3 would be this. And a group of 5 would be this. And I'm going, for your information, I'm going right, left all the time. I'm always leading with my right. So in our first example, if you look at the magazine, I'm just going to play 3 and 5 and 3 and 5, which of course make 8, and you will start to hear a nice little rhythm on the bass drum. 1 and 2 and 4 and... Let's go a wee bit faster. So you can already start to hear how that could be useful with that nice bass drum pattern. Let's move it up onto the hi-hat. And if I drop the right hand onto the snare drum, after the bass drum playing the 5, I will get a backbeat. And this is, in your magazine, this is the second example. So I'm going... So it starts to sound a little funky now. There you go, get that feeling nice and comfortable. And we can move on by splitting our hands between the ride cymbal and the hi-hat, which means you'll bring your right hand down to the snare drum, so be ready for that. So we're going to go... let's speed that up a little bit. Okay, so far so good. Let's look at the next example, which is using the 3 and the 5 as a fill. And for this example, I'm going to play the 3 on the snare drum, the 5 on the high tom, the 3 on the mid tom, and the 5 on the floor tom. Simply... I'll just play a straight groove, acknowledging that bass drum figure. And then it's up to you to split up the notes with your hands or on the drums how you like. That last fill was without the bass drum, just to see how rhythmically it's starting to sound. And for a practice challenge, again, if you look in your magazine, I've given you an example of the way you can play the groove and the fill and actually start to reassign notes around the kit. For example, if I play the groove like this, I've got surfaces available that I can reassign those notes to. All kinds of ways of doing it. Your imagination is your limit with that. So have fun with it. See you next time. Oh, I meant to say, don't be afraid to swap it round. See what happens. Don't be afraid to put the bass drum on the end. All kinds of ways you can move it around. Okay, see you next time.